I've recently had an issue with one print that I did where I put too much strain on it and the side of the print actually snapped. Now, I've had a lot of practice or experience over my entire career working with plastics, and one thing that can be done is they can be friction welded. Well, friction welding is usually pretty simple, but you have to have something that's actually going to create the friction. I like to actually use a Dremel or a similar Dremel tool. What I've done is I've printed off a series of small rods. In this case, for the plastic that I'm working with, it's PLA plastic. So this rod is actually just a 3mm rod with a point on it, printed out of PLA plastic. And it fits into my Dremel tool with a 3mm collet. Now what you want to do is just tighten it up so that it's going to be good and solid. Now the print doesn't have to be absolutely straight when it comes off, because with the speed that it's spinning at, it's going to be fairly straight enough as it is. But what you want to do is just hold your project back together. Now this can be done with projects that have been taken apart in a 3D modeler in order to print in pieces, and then you have to piece them back together if it's not something that you want an absolutely perfect weld with or bond. If it's not a model that a seamless crease or join is needed, then this should be perfectly fine to do. And you just want to keep it at a relatively good speed. You don't want it too slow. Too fast is going to be it's going to be too easy to mess something up. But just at a fairly good speed. Again, a Dremel is going to be needed to do this because your normal household drill isn't going to be fast enough to do it. Or a Dremel type tool, something like this. All you need to do is hold your piece together or clamp it. In this case, I'm just doing a simple seam weld just to weld this back together again. And I'll show you how it works. Now once again, it's not a perfect and beautiful weld, but it is something that is quite functional and it holds quite solidly. All you really want to do is get a good bead going, and then once the plastic has melted, you can actually draw that bead along the seam that's where it's broken or you need to weld together. You can sand it down, but in this case, as long as it's not got rough edges for my needs, I'll probably sand down this edge here because there is a little bit of a roughness there. But this will do the job that it's intended to do, and the buckle is again repaired and ready to go.